A little bit more refactoring today. it's, like, it's like every time you come back, what are you? You're always refactoring and never building. That's not true. I'm progressing. Here's the deal. So my roster page was I finally got the problem fixed. By the way, last night's problem. If you were keeping up, last night's problem was my roster page was loading up a big image and a small and all the small images. It turns out the problem was that I was loading all of the images twice. All the cards were being loaded twice, and I was like, "Why is this happening?" And the thing is, the AI couldn't figure it out. Okay, so this is a statement for Bezzy. I'm just gonna say. In fact, I wrote to the guy, my contact at Bezzy, and they stated that, and I told them, I go, Bezzy took away, it no longer will run while you're in run mode at all. It won't do anything. It won't even listen to your commands. It says, like, we can't do anything in run mode. So you have to get out of run mode. Okay, so when you're running in run mode, there's a lot of times in Unity where you load up things dynamically, prefabs, for example. In fact, you might use a lot of prefabs that load up dynamically if they get loaded multiple times. Like in my case, the player cards, and I use those in multiple places because basically they're all the same. They're cards, but they load up with different data. So I load up these play cards and I populate them with the data that they're required to load. But the problem is, when Bezzy tells you to shut down your play mode, it couldn't look at your hierarchy and see the problem because all it saw was the objects you had. It didn't see that I had double objects because it doesn't look at your code. Now it used to do this, and this is one of the things that Bezzy is the primary reason to use Bezzy over just using Claude, back-end Claude, is so that it can look at your hierarchy and it looks at your properties, and it's able to it's a built-in or not a built-in but an add-in extension to Unity, so it's got some extra insight into the UI and what's there, and it can look at stuff. I don't know how it does that. I don't know if it's different. As far as I can tell, Claude or any other AI that's looking at your project, Unity project, can't do that. It can look at the code, whatever's available in code, but it doesn't know necessarily what's going on in the front end, making it kind of hard for those tools to see what's plugged in, what's not functioning. Bezzy, on the other hand, can do that. So that's why it's nice to have Bezzy. It's able to look at what's plugged into those scripts, what's happening on the inspectors, you can work with Claude to do that, but you have to give it screenshots. This is my inspector. This is my hierarchy. This is what's going on. And if it can read it, then it'll help you out, and it can. So it's not necessarily a requirement that you have Bezzy, but at the same time, it does make things a lot better. It's better than trying to give it a screenshot. It can just read what's there, and it doesn't need you to expand things, and it's got a little bit more visibility into what's going on. But when they take away the ability to run at runtime, they basically take away one of its features. It can't see what objects are being loaded at runtime, because it's not going to look. It's not even going to listen to your command. Close things and then ask again, and which is kind of bad. It kind of takes away its one of its niceties. As a result, none of the AIs were able to help me figure out what this problem was. And I was looking through, and I finally, okay, so as a developer, you have multiple ways of approaching code. The longer you've been doing it, the more you're going to look at approaching code. You're going to add to your arsenal different ways to hit it, right? You're going to have some tools, like in this case, AI. You're going to know, well, comment out code. You're going to put breakpoints in. You're going to step through code. You're going to learn to use the IntelliSense. You might even add some add-ins and tools that are going to give you more insight into what's happening in the code. But when you start adding a graphical element like Unity, you have to start thinking that there's also other things to look at. Because, again, you have the front-end elements of Unity. You've got those things that the code, stepping through the code's not going to give you much. It's not going to tell you where you're plugged in, what objects you're attached to, what are the limitations of being attached to the wrong object, or or the or the benefits of being attached to the ideal object. What can you do? What can't you do? You're not going to be able to step through and find out that that's the problem. So your general code approach that most non-game developers, non-graphics engine developers are going to have, you have to add some extra things to your toolbox for debugging. And if you're new like me to Unity, I'm new. I consider myself new. I've only been working on it now for 6 months, and even then, I'm getting better. I still don't know much. I'm not a graphics guy, so when something says, just go do this and blah, 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 make it look pretty and design your, I'm like, I don't conceive it. I don't even know what to do with shaders. I don't know what to do with meshes. I mean, I kind of get what meshes are. They're the thing you plug into your objects to give them image, give them visual, and the textures give them the color, right? That's my understanding. Is the mesh is what gives them the shape, the texture, and then the shape and the I don't know what to call it. It's what applies your color, because the mesh wraps itself around whatever you're working on. It's like a net. It's a mesh, right? So you throw it on whatever object you have, and it wraps it up. And then when you give it images or the textures, it applies it to. It's kind of like the tiling system that's going to go in. So you either have quad tiles or triangle tiles, and they're not all square. They're not by any means what do you call it, uniform, because they're shaped around whatever the object is. But then you put in the color, and it pastes the color into each section of the mesh to shape it and build it around the object. And you have to be able to conceive how those things are functioning. And graphics, it's just not me. I don't do it. So I'm trying to implement graphics as best as I can. Like my stadium, I put wood paneling, because my stadiums are going to be designed to look like they could kind of fit in a fantasy world. They're not designed to look like or to fit in a they're not designed to fit in a modern world. So I'm trying to not look like I'm building a big metal stadium, a big modern day stadiums. Granted, they look pretty similar, but I'm trying to use like real grass and mud and dirt and things that you see on a field that would be in a time when we don't have AstroTurf or fake grass. That's kind of what I'm trying to do. It's all about trying to fit the aesthetic. That said, it's kind of awkward, but it's a front end thing, and Bezi's good at that. That's its strength, its selling point that makes it stand out from other tools, because it can get in. Now there is another tool out there. I think Red Hat. Is it Red Hat? No, not Red Hat. Maybe it is Red Hat. Red Hat's the company, but they make ReSharper. They make ReSharper, but they make a Unity extension as well, I think. I don't think it's as strong or as good as Bezi, though, from what I've heard. I don't know. I haven't played with it. But they're extensions that help you to do things within the UI. Anyway, they didn't figure it out. I did some digging, and I went through the UI myself while it was running. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm getting two lists of objects. So when I run this, assuming everything up, nope, got to compile it. I got to fix it. Okay, so I did recently. I did some refactoring, and oh, really? You're gonna be like that? Gonna make me do this? Boo on you! Fine, I gotta stop. I did some refactoring, and I had to combine all of my player objects. What the heck? Ooh, initial play data. let's see, initial player data. All right, so player pool manager, CS. Okay, so I think it missed one thing when it did this. Because it's just the initial player data. It's whatever this is. How many are there? Let me go give this to AI and I'll explain what's going on here. On the UI side, I'm seeing a bunch of these errors. I think they are related to the refactor. Let's see here. These are the files. The error is occurring. So anyway, here's the deal. All right, so I'll show you. I have, it's actually a pretty major refactor, but it was causing me some consternation. So on the player side, on the UI side, I had this player, full player data. The full player data model, which was supposed to store all the player data. But what was happening was, even though I was using the same model throughout the UI, I had built league, player, and even a common player, response for whenever certain calls are being made to the database. And what that was doing was every one of those responses would only partially fill this up. So in some cases, I would go to, it would be loading a card or a screen or something with data. But in those cases, it wouldn't always have the same set of data. And the goal, really what this should be is every time somebody gets a data. So if it's like in the first case, it's the team captain. It's just returning the team captain object, which is to say it's whatever the first couple of guys that are picked for a team, the best guys that are picked for the team, the highest value guys. And then you can kind of, it just gives you the first couple to choose. But that one does the team captains, which is its own set. It's called the league player, and it's only a subset of data. And then there's team player, which if you're pulling up like all of the roster data, it's going to go get team player, which doesn't have all the same values, although it should have some of those because you still need those. And then there's the common player, which that one was getting used. Honestly, I don't know where that was getting used. I think it was set up. That one was being used as part of the local database import. So I have this, I'm trying to build in this infrastructure that says, hey, if we have this data locally, great. If we don't, import it or synchronize it. And it's using these common core objects to synchronize with local system versus the backend system. And as a result, we're getting 3 different player objects because it was only doing some fields in every case. So I told it, okay, we need to refactor this, build this up, come up with a system where we always return as complete a team player object as we can. There are scenarios where we don't have data for it yet. You know, maybe a player's collection system hasn't been set up yet, or maybe he's missing, maybe he doesn't have a contract going right now. It's like he hasn't been assigned to a team. He's sitting out there in free agency. Who knows? But ultimately, there's different values that may or may not exist, but it still needs to return all of them, and we just get values back for it that we can look at. So that was what the whole refactor was this time. So I had AI helping me work on that. Which, by the way, I was using Opus 4.5, and it felt a lot more solid. I'm using it a little bit more in Copilot. I don't want to use it in Claude because I'm afraid I'm going to burn out my tokens even faster. But I use it in my GitHub Copilot, and I'm letting it go through and do some tasks for me because I have three right now. I'm using Bezi, uh, Bezi Claude, and GitHub Copilot. Now I do all the minimums; they're all like the $20 versions, and I need to start buying the annuals, so that'll save me, I don't know, $30 if I do that. But I've been paying monthly on a couple of them, and it's costing me a couple bucks more a month. I am doing the three. I just have to. I'm learning how to manipulate them so I stay within my credit budget on each one. I try to do Bezi when I can. I try to use. I kind of have GitHub Copilot and Bezi kind of sharing jobs. The GitHub Copilot lets me work on back end stuff, but I try to do smaller items. Bezi's kind of UI stuff if it's manipulating objects and stuff on screen. Betsy's been letting me down though lately. I mean, I was really impressed with it at first. It was really helping a lot. But these last few iterations, they update it like every week. These last couple of iterations feel like they're not as bright. Like they're making a lot. They're stumbling through figuring things out. So they're constantly churning. Like I said, every week they do new updates, and sometimes I feel like it's getting less smart. So I don't know if they're changing the model it's using or what they're doing. Uh, I don't know. It just feels like it's been a step back. It could just be me. I don't know. We'll see. I'll keep using it. I'm going to stick with it for a little while because it has been helpful, but less so recently. Okay, so let's see what this did. Okay, we'll let that go for now. I basically all it did was it put it back. It was one of the things that refactored out because it didn't see what it was being used for. Um, I'm not sure if I want to do it that way. Again, that's like creating another way to handle something. I'm trying to avoid that. The whole thing is about simplifying, making things run on minimum redundancy. I hate redundancy. It's bad, bad. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get my drink. What you doing? All right, I'm back. I'm back. You know, probably gone longer than I expected, but I'm here. All right. Yeah. So let's see where we are. Let's see. Hopefully everything will compile this time. And I'll show you. I've got the roster page loading. It's not fully data loaded yet because it's only got a couple of fields. I do got to put more on there. I got to format a little bit, clean up. I want to get the images loading so we can start seeing some players. Now, I don't have all my images yet. I do have to go back and start creating some. You'll note that when it loads, I have a lot of errors because it's telling me this guy doesn't exist. This guy doesn't. Oh, God. Stop it. Stop it. Why does it have problems all the time? It's so irritating. So irritating. All right. Okay. Oh, it did load them. Nice. I fixed that. I'm getting so good. It wasn't loading, but I tried to set it and then it didn't work. And I was like, something's not there. But now this is why I had to combine my objects. I did refactoring to connect all my player objects because the player object that was being loaded for the roster players wasn't complete. It was only basic information. It didn't have the image information. And I was like, well, it's calling the image loader. What is going on? I'm looking, it's like, it's missing data. Why is this one got it? And then it works fine over here. And it turns out it's because they're calling different things and getting different data back. And I said, all right, we need to merge this. We'll always get as much data as is available. Now, so when I click on one of these, you can see my data is kind of running off the page. So we got some interest. Player experience info year. So this is not supposed to be. I don't think it's supposed to be showing me text like that, but they all say the same nonsense. So we are getting, it doesn't even have their name. The name is supposed to be up here. So, okay. I haven't even set these yet. I mean, the reason name is not there is because name does not exist. So that's the thing. I have not assigned it yet. So that's part of it. So I can actually reduce it down. Stop clicking on that page. So these are my quarterbacks on this team. This team has 3 quarterbacks. So I probably should come up with a way to make this look a little bit more space utilizing, space utilization-y. Well, we'll come up with something for that. Right now it's this, right? So it doesn't look great because I don't know if this is the best layout. I'm trying to decide what is a good layout here. I mean, would it be nice? Would it be better to have like? What if I allowed for horizontal and vertical scrolling? See, this is also going to be where you set your depth chart, right? So this is just wide receivers. So this team has 7 wide receivers, probably a bit on the high end. Only 2 tight ends. Jeez, what is that? Why is that one all micro text? Okay, so we got some definite weirdness going on in some of these. Is it the first one on all of them? Oh, it's the first one on all of them. Yeah, look at that. Is it even on this? It is. So first one on all these objects is getting micro texted. And everything else, 4 CBs. I feel like that's a little light too. So well, I'll fix that. Text will get better. We're getting them loaded. That's the key thing. What the heck, man? That's a weird one. I mean, I like the image. I got to remove the background on that guy. He does not look his best. These are my defaults. These are for the images or characters that don't have images yet. So. Yeah. I've even thought I'd like to maybe figure out a way to cut off, just show their upper body, because that's what player cards do, right? They just show you the upper body. I don't know. Do I need just the upper body? I don't know. But I want to have some basic card info. I want to be able to zoom in on this though and have like more, and then I want to have a flip. Like you click it again, it'll flip while it's expanded. because the idea is that it'll flip and give you like a bunch of extra stats and information on the guy. Um, but I actually have the backside or the flip side already existing. I just haven't populated it with anything yet. But comparatives, that's what I'm trying to figure out. How do I create comparatives? So I got 7 wide receivers here. Would it be better to just have bigger cards and then just let people scroll and see? Because like if I swap this out, so you're only going to see, so you see 7, but if I showed you 1, that would be really lame. You wouldn't see much of anything. It's really kind of a tough scenario, right? When you have to deal with multiple phone layouts. I mean, ultimately, I could probably make this box a little bit bigger, give a little bit more space. But that only does so much, right? Like, even if I brought it all the way up to the buttons, we'd still be minimal as far as what we can get on there. And I don't know, there's got to be a good layout. I mean, I could put them across the top, but then it's not really comparative, right? It's hard to compare things. Across pages, right? Since I'm using lengthwise though, and if I were to lay them out this way, I could probably get all 7 players. And then I could do something like create no, it wouldn't be good because then I wouldn't be able to put a player here. I'd have to have like this be the stat list and then this go across and then each player have, yeah, it's not great. It's not great. I don't know if I like it. It's a weird way to lay things out. It's not a common way to lay things out. A lot of games do it in a list form where they would just have, you just have one and then you just scroll down through them. But it's still not that easy to look at them if you're looking at them in this kind of a format, right? I mean, this would be really hard to look at guys too, because if I only have one card and you're looking at their bar, I need suggestions. Anybody got an idea? I want to lay it out nicely. What does my zoom look like on this? Oh, zoom's fine. Zoom's going to be fine enough. But it's a lot of dead space when we only have 3 guys. But I have to utilize this somehow. So some games just set up and spread guys out. I could do that, but I have 7 wide receivers, so I can't really spread them out too much. I need feedback. I need people who want to help me lay this out. I feel like across the top might be the nicest to look at, but maybe not the most functional to compare. I could do I could have a sort mechanism that maybe calls out certain values in like a little skill tree that you click on the skill tree and it sorts them. Yeah, that's tough. All right, I'll come up with something. I think I like the idea of a sort mechanism, but sometimes you don't want to see by one mechanism, right? It's and then, but the thing is, with a sort mechanism, it would work with all better as well. 3, 6, 7. I'm thinking I want to go with a vertical layout instead of a horizontal. I mean, it'll still scroll horizontal, but I want to fill up this way. And then I'll use a sort mechanism. And maybe if I have sort values, they go underneath the cards. You know, primary or something that you can see right up against each other. Maybe overall rating or position rating. Position rating is different from overall rating, right? And overall rating actually considers them as a player on the whole. But a position rating is kind of like an overall rating, but for that position. So every player will have an overall rating, and every player will technically have a position rating for every position. So if I were to hit all, whatever their position is, that's what the rating you'd see, which is different versus an overall rating, which is going to use a different mechanism. Basically, an overall rating might be stronger for some guys because they might be multiple position capable. So, like where, for example, Travis Hunter, right? So if he was on here, or even Deion Sanders, who's long retired, but then again, so are half the people in my current data list. You have guys that play on both sides of the ball, they'd have a better overall rating than maybe someone who's on the same side of the ball as, who only plays the same position as them on either side, because they're going to have additional skills that up their overall rating. I mean, every player has some kind of overall rating, but it's not always apples to apples, right? An overall rating for a quarterback is going to take their overall quarterback skills along with all their other skills, which are probably all default levels. And you're going to take your wide receivers overall rating, might be comparable maybe, but you got to weight certain skills. So a quarterback would theoretically have an overall rating that's higher because they carry more weight on the team. So their weights as an overall, if you were just ranking players, you would rank them with some kind of weighting, maybe by position. Like, I don't know, passing, awareness, that kind of thing might all just carry a little bit extra weight. Where running back receiver skills are a little higher, DB skills are a little higher, and you kind of start ranking everybody. But that's just giving relative weight to the fact that that position carries more oomph. Now, not every quarterback's skills would be enough to offset like a really good running back, because even though that they're playing a more weighted position, they may not be very good. So it's going to give them small bonuses. I don't know. I haven't decided how to do that. I do have overall ratings, but it's really just based on whatever stats they have, and then it just calculates it. So if there's more ratings to go with, then a player may have a higher rating because they'll just have more skills. And some positions have more skills to be rated, and therefore more lower things for those players that don't have those skills. Anyway, that's kind of where we're at. So, yeah, see, in this one, this guy's not loading up right anymore either. So I got first half, goal, minutes. See, my minutes are all out. So this is all out of whack. What happened to this? My playbook. Playbook's the same kind of thing. It zooms in, zooms out, but I have not added the ability to actually add plays to the playbook. So I got to do that. It's a lot to do. Lots and lots and lots to do. But I do have them loading now finally, so that's all a big deal, right? Progress. Okay. I would like to get more data into my roster. So I have the sim data. Oops, wrong one. This one. So this is where we can start simulating games. But until I actually have, now I have players, and I have playbooks and game plans. So those are all kind of the key elements. Now I don't have anything like drafting or trading or anything like that set up yet. Those mechanisms and pages that would view them are not. But roster management is probably going to be going to have some. Maybe I'll have some extra menus in here for like, um, you know, scouting. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. I'll probably have to add something in here for filtering the players, scouting the players, looking at what do you call it, free agency, those kind of things. I have a different idea for how I want to do free agency and supplemental drafts. I am going to do a supplemental draft. I want a way that I can introduce new players to the league that are not rookies. Okay, so theoretically, the draft should be made up of only rookies, right? So you're not going to have guys that are, um, second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th, whatever. But as each um, season progresses, I'd like to be able to introduce additional players to the league so that you can pull them in. So I'm going to be using free agency partially for that. And I also want to be able to use, what do you call it? Supplemental draft for that as well. And I just got to figure out how I can coordinate that along with what typically happens with players like that. Um, Everybody, they have the priorities if they can get them. You also got to be able to pay them their salaries. Free agency is going to be, tricky. You got to be able to pay the salaries of whatever the player is. Um, so yeah, I've got plans for those, but those have got to be worked out. So it's a lot of little things. But I got to get everything loaded, and I got to get the simulation going. I don't even know. Does my simulation currently do anything? Oh look, my little settings box isn't popping up. Boo! Boo! What happened to my settings box? I love it when I go into something after a while and it's just something's not there anymore. It's like, where's it was there before, now it's gone. What is going on? Oh, if it isn't one thing, it's another. So these buttons don't technically do anything. They're settings. They're supposed to be highlighting too. So yeah, something totally went off the rails with this. So when I click on it, it's supposed to highlight as your selection, and then you kick off. Because there's settings that come with each one. They pop up. They have a little settings thing, says how long a game do you want to play. Most of them is how long a game do you want to play, but a couple of them have things like you can put in the team ID of the team you want to play against, which is like head to head and coaches mode, I think. Scrimmage is a form of play that's not really a full game, but scrimmage is like a place. It's like practice, but you're practicing against other teams. And you can do it against AI teams. You can do it against your team. It's typically teams in your league. Maybe I should add that to the training thing. So one of the things I'm planning on trying to accomplish too is, like I said, I want to turn this into a 3D image, where a lot of these huts and stuff are actual assets on the screen, and then you click on one of those and it takes you to whatever whatever the appropriate room would be, the screen would then have a background that looks kind of like that. And then in there, you might have a couple of options, like maybe you open the coach's hut, and that's where you'll see game plan and playbook. You might go to the gym or the training hall, and you go in there, and there might be different workout things you can do. Click on the field and go do there, and there might be practice, and there'll be different practicing things you can do. That's the kind of objective I have. I would like these to have some kind of functional purpose. I kind of did that with what am I clicking on? Oh, main canvas. Home back. That's weird. Huh. It's just toggling through things. I don't know what it's doing. But I want to be able to have it be a little bit more dynamic, more gamey than just having a menu across the top and a dead picture in the back. So, yeah, that's what I want. That's the goal and dream of life. I don't know why this isn't doing anything, because who am I logged in as? I am logged in as Kyle. I'm an admin. Some stuff just isn't quite doing what it's supposed to. So frustrating to see things that were working stop working. You get one thing working and another one stops. All right, well, it's just the way it goes. I just gotta knock things off, put them on the list. Okay, next, let's go back to the game plan. So why are some of these things not working? What the heck, man? Things just stop working. Supposed to be clickable and pop me, and it was just like a week ago. It was just clickable and I could pop up, but now it's not. What can I say, man? Things just don't go my way sometimes. All right, I'm gonna try